What is going on, boys? FX, and today we're going to be taking a look at how I form my bias, how I kind of frame my setups, what I look for when I come into the Forex market on a new week with a blank chart. Just kind of top-down analysis, I guess is what you can call it. There's been a lot of videos on this, and I don't really want you to see this as some holy grail. This is incredibly simple. My trading style is not complicated whatsoever. So I basically look for 2 to 3 things in my charts. We'll go over it as we go, but basically just a public service announcement before we hop into this. Not that I really care, but I received a comment on my video regarding my language and the F word in particular. And let's just get one thing straight. These videos are free. You do not have to watch them. And if you have a problem with my language, I really do not give a fuck. I wish I cared, but I don't. That's one of the perks of me giving you free shit. Now, maybe if I was employed, or if you were giving me money, or if I was a part of your program, then I'd actually care. But for the time being, I'm just going to be myself. I'm going to say what I want to say. If I cuss, I cuss. You can either be a bitch and leave, or you can get over it. It's the fucking 21st century. I think 12-year-olds are cussing now. So with all that being said, let's hop right into this bias video. This should be fairly eye-opening. I think you'll enjoy it, so let's fucking do it. Welcome to my computer screen. We're going to be taking a look at two pairs. We're going to be taking a look at UJ, so US dollar, Japanese yen, and then we're going to be taking a look at the US dollar and the Swiss franc. Now, as I said earlier, this is not going to be anything too insane. So the things I look for are very simple, and I'm sure there's a lot of traders that look for the same thing, but my execution is always going to be a little bit different. So the first thing we are always going to want to look at when trading the Forex market is our news events. So we're going to be wanting to note all the high impact news events, what we have for the week. So a lot of times the amount of high impact news events directly correlates with the volatility we see in the market. Not all the time. Sometimes we won't have a whole lot, but the majority of the time, the more reds, the more volatile the market will actually be. So for example, on Thursday, we have a whole lot of Euro news, so I can expect a whole lot of Euro volatility. I'm going to be looking for raids and setups during that time, or just a little bit after that time. So always be checking your economic calendars, and just make sure you know when the volatility is going to be coming in. And I touched up on this on my other videos. This is just something you should always be doing as a Forex trader. So the next thing we're going to want to do, I'm on TradingView right now, so I like to take a look at my previous week. So I'll take a vertical line, and we'll find where last week started. So right here, okay, and then, so this is the end of last week, and then we'll find where last week started, which was right, let's see if I can find it, right here. Okay, so as far as volatility goes, it was somewhat expansive. What I'm doing here is I'm looking at my weekly range from last week. So I'm looking at the open to the close of last week, and you can actually pull out the weekly and just look at how big the candle was if you want to, but I like to do it on the 4-hour. And this really didn't have a whole lot of expansion in comparison to the other weeks. So we see stuff like this. We always want to be looking for high range weeks. So after high range weeks comes, they're usually followed by low range weeks, so like chop like this, and then that's usually when the expansion comes, which is after the low range weeks. So that's all I'm doing with that, is I'm just marking out my range of the previous week, and I like to do that on the 4-hour. It's just a lot cleaner for me. I don't even really look at the weekly very often, and that's because really my trading strategy is intra-week. So I might check the weekly at the beginning of the week to see which way it's putting its wick in or something. But really, other than that, the daily is all the highest I go, because I'm trading. I'm in and out of my positions within the week. So really, the daily and the 4-hour are the most important to me. So with that being said, so we had a fairly low range week last week. A manipulation on the low. So that's actually the next thing I look for. So I'm going to be marking out lows and highs. So I consider this open float, liquidity where the resting orders are. And all I'm doing is I'm marking it out. And then I'll highlight where the manipulations happened. Okay. So many of you know, if you follow me on Twitter or in the Discord, I'm actually short UJ right now. And basically, this is kind of why I laugh and say my trading strategy is super fucking simple, because all I'm doing is looking at the liquidity and where we rated last. That's virtually. Now my execution is going to be, I can tell you basically the secret of my trading strategy, and you're not going to be able to execute it like I do, because that shit takes a lot of time and practice. So basically all I'm identifying is where our liquidity is and where our liquidity is being drawn. So here on the daily we're trading above, and after I do that, I kind of zoom in. So I go from the daily to the 4-hour. Okay, and this in the 4-hour is where I like to note my fair value gaps, my scam fair value gaps. I'll look for order blocks, breakers, all that stuff. So as I posted on Twitter, we have a scam fair value gap formation right here, okay? And it shot above these two highs. So what I'm expecting now, considering we just drawn the liquidity up here, is a nice little retrace. So something like this, just down. So I'm in a challenge account short right now, so I'm just expecting an efficiency here to be filled. I don't want this to turn into like a complete fucking analysis video, but this is virtually all I look for, is inefficiencies in price, draws on liquidity, where the open float is. It's really, that's the basis of my trading strategy. There's a little more to it, but I'm not gonna get into it. But from the 4-hour, all I'm doing now is I just zoom into the hourly, and the hourly and the 15-minute the hourly is alright, but the 4-hour is really where I'm taking most of my trade setups. It's where I frame my trade parameters. So hourly is nice, but really the 4-hour is where it's at. So again, all I'm doing here is I'm just looking for liquidity draws. So we have a swing low right here. Okay. Let's actually delete this because it's getting a little clustered. Delete this too. Okay, so we could potentially, what could happen here is we could do one of these, move under here violently, and then do one of these things. So I'm going to be wanting to watch this low here. And that's why I do that, because a lot of times on the hourly, we'll use the swing lows, go below it, move back above it, and that's where we might chop or something after we go below it, or we might just expand right away. So that's why we're always wanting to be wary of that. But that's basically the basis of it. So go ahead and do it again. We'll hit up USDCHF. Okay. Just do the same exact thing. This is how I form my bias. Okay, so we have a swing low here, daily. Didn't quite move. I would like that to come below it a little further. But we had a swing high here. Got manipulated. Another tap there. And then moved down. So we have this low. We have this low. So what we could see is like a chop, a fake out, move below, and then come for these lows right here. That's ideally what I'd like to see. I think we're gonna have to draw a little deeper if we are to head higher. But then we have this low. Okay, got drawn from, expanded to the upside, and it took out these two highs, this high. Okay. And I actually had this high marked out, like a long ass time ago, to be drawn. And then, but right now, from the daily, our bias is bearish. So we might get, I'm going to be looking for chop, just like intra-week. But our overall bias is going to be bearish. I'm going to be hunting shorts. I'm going to be hunting high manipulations, retest, breaker retest, order block retest. That's just basically what I'm going to be looking for. And then once we move below these lows here, then I could potentially frame a long or something temporarily. But that's virtually, we can go into our 4 hour. Again, look at this. Swing low formed here on the 4 hour. Nice aggressive move below it, move back above, and this is really bullish on the 4 hour, and you really could frame an intraday setup off it if you wanted to. But I'd see something like around here, just something to fill in this inefficient price action, because this is incredibly inefficient. And we did retake this here, so we're trading back above this area, so that's important. We could consolidate above that and then take off to the upside to about this, I'd say probably this area if I had to guess. And then from here we could hunt some sort of 4 hour high manipulation and then target these two lows here. So again, all I'm doing is I'm finding the open float, the liquidity. So that comes in the form of clean highs and clean lows. And then from there, I'm looking for inefficient price action, raids on those lows and highs. So like here we rated this temporary 4 hour swing low. So that's something I'm noting. So I can frame a setup off that if I wanted to. But that's virtually it. Other than that, it just all comes down to time of day and whatnot, your news events. But that's really all I do to come to my bias. Again, this shit doesn't have to be that difficult. Like a lot of these top-down analysis, you see dudes going onto the weekly and the monthly and just fucking hammering lines on there, just fucking nailing them on there. Like, what are you supposed to do with them all? I just keep it simple, couple lines, couple boxes, just know what's going on, annotate it with some squigglies if you want. I don't always recommend that. It can get a little clustered, but I like to do it. Some boxes to highlight your raids, and that's really all you need. Just try to keep it simple, because overcomplicating this, it's going to bring you anxiety and stress. That's all it's going to do. So with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this shit. Thank you guys for watching. Please do leave a like and a subscribe, and I will see you guys next time. Peace out.